Hi everybody, it's your buddy Brad here, and today we are going to talk about scripting and how to make your own script from one of your flames that you create. Um, Scripts are a fast, fun, and easy way of getting a fractal. Um, some people may think they're cheating. I don't, just as long as you tweak. Um, but then if you make it yourself, it really doesn't matter because you're making it from something you started. So, but it's always really fun to recreate something and have it randomized, uh, and then share it with others and see if they like it. And always remind them to tweak. Because if they don't tweak, then they're just recreating something that you made, and well, that's no fun, right? So let's say one day you're just playing around and you selected a Julian 2, adjusted some parameters, added a linear to it. You change the gradient here. So you just have a Julian 2 in a linear. And let's move that linear to the right. And you think, hey, that's kind of cool. I like that. I wonder if I could recreate that with a script. So we are going to go over here to this scripts tab. This is where all your scripts are located. And there is this button right here. It's called From Flame. And if you click on that, it's going to ask you to name your script. I'm just going to say Truth Test. And I have a special hotkey where I have it set up for it automatically does the date and time. So that's where that comes from. So what it does then is it generates code here in this window. And if you want to see it a little bit better, you can click on the edit and you see this code here. And let's just see what happens if we run it. And as you see, the only thing that is changing is the gradient, because we have not made any modifications to it yet. So let's say, when I was playing around, I noticed some cool things happen when I up the power on the Julian. But first, before I get ahead of myself, one of the first things I always do when creating a script, actually I'm going to select all this, and bring it into a notepad here. Hopefully you can see it a little bit better. Now this is going to be the same exact code. I go up to the top here, and there is a setting I always change, or I actually add. This is one of my scripts I've made, and it is this flame set black background transparency false. So I'm just going to select that, copy it, Control C, and I'm going to add that here and delete the space. What that does is, if you don't have that set, if you look under your coloring tab, the background transparency is clicked, meaning that when when you render it, it'll, even though you might have a black background here, it will be transparent. It will be clear. And even though that can be a cool effect sometimes, you normally do not want to have that. And I'm sure there's another way to avoid that, but I don't know how to do it. So now I'm going to select this, hit copy. We're still in our editing box here. I'm going to paste it into here. Okay, now watch this box down here when I hit run script. You see the check mark is gone. So we will no longer have a background, our background will not be transparent. But it's still just changing the gradients. So what I want to do now, let's say I want to see what happens when I move the linear around. I'm just moving it left and right, up and down, rotating it, just cool effects, making it smaller, making it bigger. And there's a really easy way to script all that in. If we look at our script, remember this is all the code from that from this window here. I just have it in here so you can see it better. So we're going to go down. So if you think of it, it creates a layer. And then on that layer, there's only, unless you use multiple layers, you won't need to worry about that. Let me back up here some. This information here, this is all of the Java code that it is pulling from that it needs for the script to run. This information here is information that is under the camera tab and coloring tab. And here it's like I said, creating a layer, and then it's creating the first transform, which we had our Julian on. And this information here is telling you it is it shows where the triangle is located. Since we didn't move that at all, everything is 0 here. And we'll at the default value. And then this is our variation. This is the Julian. And this is, here it shows that we are using the Julian too. And these are the variables for that variation. And this number down here, that is the weight, which is, I'm sorry, it's not the weight, it's this number here. Let's see. Where do we set the weight at? Ah, yes, the weight is right here. So if you wanted to up the weight, you would change that here. Then if you go down, here it says set default edit planes. And let's see, it says, here's what I wanted to show. Random affine transforms, uncomment to play around. And this is where we're going to have our fun. What it means by uncomment is, see how at the beginning of these lines, there are these two slashes. In Java code, it just sees that as a comment, meaning that the program will not read that information. But I don't want to move the Julian. I want to move the linear. So we're going to come down here. Here's our linear 3D. So let's say, okay, so if you look at these, so this transforms the scale of the first transform, or of the transform. And this information here is the randomization code that it uses. So let's say if we want to only scale it, making the the triangle bigger or smaller, we are going to just delete that. I'm going to select all of this, Control A, Control C, and I suggest doing this, even though you can see it in here. It's at least for me, it's a little hard to read. So I copied, now I'm going to paste that. And if you see here, this is our change that we made. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to click on Run Script. And as you see, we have a little bit of differences each time we click. Just by, and what that is just scaling this up and down. And if you want it to scale more, you can actually play around with these numbers here. Now let's say I want it 10, and what that's doing is it's picking a number between 0 and 10 to the amount it scales. So this is going to be probably pretty big. Yeah, it's really big. Let's set that to 2. That's a little bit better. Or, since we made a change here, but we didn't change it here, it's going to be back to where it was, which I'm going to keep it at that. So these are the regular transforms. So it goes through scale, rotation, and translation. Let's see, what was this number here? I'm just going to copy this. Back to here. Back to where it was. So that's the scale. Let's say I change my mind, I don't want to change the scale. So I uncomment it. Then let's say I want to see what happens if I rotate it. Now that's kind of cool. And then let's see what happens if we just translate it, which means actually moving the triangle. So each time I'm clicking the button, you see how it's just moving the triangle around. So then, let's say I wanted to add see what happens when I change the power of the drilling tube. You know, once I get up to 6, yeah, let's say 7. I can take this, like, I can copy this here. Actually, I want to multiply it. I'm just going to copy this. Go up here to our Julian. And here it is, says power. We're going to paste that information. So this math random is going to randomize this number we put before it. So we said 7. If I copy that, then come back over here to our box. I am highlighting that line. And what's great is you can actually right click in this box and it gives you these other options. Not too many places in JWildfire work like you would normally think a right click would work. So that's kind of cool. So now I pasted that information. Let's go ahead and run the script again. So right now it is just translating, right? To linear, or did I change it back? Yes, just translating it. Now I'm going to comment that too. And if you notice, well, here it was at 2, but if we click run, click on the Julian, why is the power staying at 2? Should be changing here. Now there it is. There it's changing. Again, it's just random, so it was king the 2 a few times. But you can also use that information, this random setting, to change other settings. Let's say I like bright fractals, and I don't like to have my brightness set at 4. It's not a default, but if I look at one of my scripts, the best thing you can do is look at code for other scripts and get ideas from those scripts. Oops. Come on, copy. Now it's going to probably be set at 25 if I hit enter. See our brightness down here? It's set to 25. But let's say I wanted to randomize that. I would just, here I'm just going to copy this, the math random. I'm setting it to 40 because I can. So now, once I hit the button, if you watch the brightness, you'll see it changing. There's 22, 27, 37. So you can basically control any setting in here, including even 3D rendering options. Like if you make a 3D fractal, it gives you a whole other list of predefined categories that you can change. Um, anything can be done if you, with the right knowledge, with scripting, at least according to Andreas. But hopefully I've shown you a few things here that should get you started in randomizing your own script. If you have any questions, please let me know. Also, please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. And I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.